I don't really want to do this. Doesn't make any sense. It's weird. It's weird to not know what you want when you have the whole world at your feet. You're born into privilege. You're born into certain comfort. You're born into many things. And after 30 years, you realize not only you did nothing with those things and those gifts, but you've also lost them. It's weird. It's weird because spend all your life thinking, uh, dreaming, about all these great things that you're gonna do when you're old enough to go ahead and do them. And then, and it's not like they say that you wake up one day and you realize, so little by little over the course of 10, 12 or so years, you start seeing little things that you can't quite put the finger on them, but you have this feeling where this is not right. Maybe you can see this becoming part of you even though you don't want it, or, or stuff. It cannot necessarily be something possible to describe in that sense. It's just these feelings, this anxiety. It is very interesting because now we've developed all these theories, uh, all these social statuses, and yeah, you just to little by little realize you didn't do what you wanted. No matter how hard you try to steer towards that dream, sometimes it even changes, morphs. It's not really something specific. And it begins with that question, what do you want? Um, I've always known what I want, but saying I just want to be gamer, geek, an engineer, filmmaker, movie star, saying it just doesn't make it true. And sometimes you don't realize this. You need to put the work in. It's not just a work. And then you put work on something your whole life, just to realize that no matter how hard you try, uh, can't be that person. We live in a world now where people actually make a living off video games, movies, games about movies, just talking about them, just putting their face on the camera and talking about these things every day. They put their faces out there. They make a very good living out of it. Some of them even cross their tiny internet room into the limelight. And then, uh, and then it's you. You're not necessarily geographically placed to be that person. So I see my friends becoming engineers, lawyers, civil servants. And a lot of them become husbands and wives. And then you become nothing. And everybody keeps asking you, what do you want? Well, I want to make a living playing games and watching movies, doing movies. Uh, I want to make a living out of this geek culture that has grown from the 70s all the way to this time. How do I do that? I don't actually know how to do that. Some of the work I've put in my life has only been to stave off the commentary of, well, you should stop playing games and focusing on a career. So I thought to myself, well, if this is true, if I'm just playing games, maybe I can become an engineer. And then once I'm that engineer, I can go on and build games out of amazing technology. But then I just don't become the engineer. I fail. And then you hear all this failure is just a step towards a success. You learn from failure. Yeah. Then you fail so many times that you just run out of time to keep failing until you succeed. And then I always justify it with the story of Alan Rickman, who just one day he decided he wanted to be an actor, and he became an actor at 43 or something. Uh, it's just a justification because he worked. He worked his whole life. And he became the thing, whatever that might have been. He had a family, he had a whole life. So even though he failed at the very beginning on becoming what he wanted to be, he succeeded at that previous step. Then I said to myself, well, I'll study filmmaking. Funny thing is, when I was studying engineering, I saw all my friends move on. Myself stayed in the same place. And this is something I don't recommend to my worst enemy. It is a feeling where you see all these people who are your friends and who you love very much continue their lives. This is stuff that you cannot even imagine. That's just how far it is. That you can just not even imagine it. And a lot of things start becoming this thing that you can't imagine. This idealized version of something. Because all you're doing is, well, now I have to work on this. If I can not go directly to what I want to be, I'll circumvent it. But you're failing at this uh, circumvention because you can't avoid the burning passion of games or whatever your passion might be. And then you start failing so much that you have to start sacrificing your passion. So, in the end, you lose yourself. In the end, you lose who you are. But you're still under that justification. Well, I'll get there. No matter how, but I'll get there. But at this point, now that I am so very close to something that when I started was very clear, now that thing doesn't even exist in my imagination. It's gone. I've lost so much that I am completely empty out. Absolutely devoid of that fire that made me soar through the skies when I was 7 years old with tiny figurines. Um, that fire that I have to see every day in the eyes of these very people that do it every day on YouTube. And they are succeeding. Something that didn't exist before. So now I ask myself that question: what do you want? Now I have no clue because what I want is no longer what I really want. Now I just want to be above water. Stop suffocating in this illusion of a life I live. Worst part is I met somebody who is arguably in a worse position than myself and has gathered more success. Somebody that shuns into that privilege I was born into. No matter how small this privilege is, because I accept I've been given many more gifts than so many other people. I can see it. I can see it. So I don't even have an argument, which makes it even harder to uh, take take me to this realization of emptiness. So now I'm here at the edge of the cliff with not a clue of what I want to do, not a pebble to stand on. All I have is this gamer code where cheating is strictly forbidden and you cannot just quit the game. it's just this paradox where I cannot cut any corners, even though I can see them clearly. I can see how people cut so many corners and get ahead on the game. But I don't even know how to do that. I didn't work myself towards that goal. I didn't taught myself to be that way, so I don't even know how to do it. Even if I was to change right now, I wouldn't know how to do it. And I wonder, how long will I last? This silver spoon tether that I have has run its course. I even took advantage of it. To my disgust, to be honest. Will I last more time in this game? Will I achieve what I'm trying to achieve, whatever that might be? I don't know. I guess we'll see.